guess ultraviolet light doesn't care if it's cloudy. Solar eclipse glasses are supposed to block all but the brightest sources of light, for example, the sun. But they're also supposed to block ultraviolet light too. In this video, we're going to test out my bad solar eclipse glasses. They certainly let through way too much visible light, as we saw in the previous video, but do they block any ultraviolet light at all? Let's find out. The sun produces a lot of different light, including ultraviolet, or as we like to call it, UV. UV is responsible for all kinds of things, such as vitamin D synthesis in our bodies, a good thing, and sunburn, skin cancer, cataracts, photoaging, sun bleaching, etc., etc. That's why we use sunblock lotion on our skin. It acts as a protective layer that absorbs the ultraviolet light before it can penetrate and damage our skin. In this video, we're going to attempt to test whether these bad solar eclipse glasses block UV light rays from the sun like they're supposed to. Now, I don't have any fancy scientific equipment to measure ultraviolet light with, but I do have these color-changing beads. They're pretty cool. You expose these to ultraviolet light and they change to a bunch of different colors. Whoops, lost one. Now, I learned about these while visiting the Fort Worth Astronomical Society. They use these for outreach programs at schools. They have a lot of fun. There's a scientific application to them. Now, I went ahead and I bought my own. I got a brand called Educational Innovations. I got these on Amazon. They were pretty cheap. The reason I chose this brand was because on their website, they actually state the ultraviolet wavelengths that activate the beads. Now, in a minute, you'll see why that's important. And as I showed at the beginning of the video, ultraviolet light rays can penetrate down through cloudy skies. To understand the dangers of ultraviolet light, we need to know the three types of UV light. Scientists have divided it up into three groups, and they are UVA, UVB, and UVC. UVC is the most dangerous. It has the shortest wavelengths of the three, ranging from 1 nanometer all the way up to 280 nanometers. I'm exaggerating the length here because the nanometer is about this wide. Fortunately, UVC light waves are blocked by our ozone layer. Whew, we got lucky with that one. UVB is the heavy hitter, with wavelengths between 280 and 350 nanometers. UVB is needed for vitamin D synthesis in our skin, and oh, by the way, it causes sunburns, skin cancer, cataracts, etc., etc. It's really the primary concern for us human beings. Lastly, there's UVA, which has wavelengths between 315 nanometers and 400 nanometers. It causes similar effects to UVB, but to a slightly lesser extent. And of course, if you go further down the wavelength scale, you get to visible light over there. Why do I bring these up in a solar eclipse glasses video? Because part of the ISO 12312-2 standard requires that they either block or at least mitigate the UVA and UVB light waves, specifically between the wavelengths of 280 and 315 for UVB and 315 and 380 for UVA. And as you can see, that pretty much covers most of the band. I've got these three identical cups and they have identical numbers of the UV detection beads in them. I've coated the outside with metal tape to prevent light from getting in from the sides or the bottom. Now we need a cardboard box. I happen to have one here. First I have to empty it. It's filled with a lot of unsold copies of this novel called Red Hope. Let's take care of these. You know what? I think I'm just going to use a cookie box. Let's first draw 3 circles. Now we'll cut them out. Now let's put these 3 cups in. Now the solar eclipse glasses don't completely cover it, so I have to put tape over this. These are the good ones. These are from Rainbow Symphony. And then we'll put the questionable ones over here. Okay, now this is the control. These are the good ones. These are the not so good ones. We'll take these outside in the sunlight and see what happens. Wow, those colors changed almost immediately after being exposed to sunlight. Now let's set it down. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Let's take these inside. You can see the control beads. Well, they changed really quick. Okay, let's look at the Rainbow Symphony. Still white. Let's look at the bad ones. Still white, look at that. Now at first glance, it looks like both sets of solar eclipse glasses block the UV light. In a way, it looks like you could almost say light, it didn't find a way. But of course, there's a catch. These UV light beads react to ultraviolet light that is between the bands of 300 nanometers and 360 nanometers. You may notice that that leaves a portion that is uncovered. Anything that's between 280 and 300, and anything that is above 360 nanometers. Now at first glance, it seems like both sets of solar eclipse glasses blocked all the UV light, and I have no doubt that the official Rainbow Symphony ones do. But the question remains, should you trust the ones that are not listed on the AAS.org website? And I have to say that because we don't have a way to test those missing bands, I cannot say 100% that these satisfy the ISO 12312-2 requirements. So it comes down to, you're going to have to make a personal safety decision if you have a set of these that are failing several of the solar eclipse eyeglass tests. In our case, we're just going to go ahead and continue using the Rainbow Symphony ones because they pass all the tests. Now, there is something interesting about this bag of UV beads. If you look closely, there is a hidden message. Now for some Q&A. What if your solar eclipse glasses are damaged? If your solar eclipse glasses are folded or creased or have little holes in them or are scratched, you should really consider replacing them. The possible danger is that basically there are little pinholes in these that'll let a dangerous amount of light through when you're trying to use them. What if your glasses have the ISO logo, they are on the AAS list, but they seem to fail the camera flash test? Well, it may come down to your camera flash just being brighter than mine. Another quick test is to basically go outside and look through the glasses away from the sun, look at the horizon, and see what you can see. You really shouldn't be able to see much. These bad glasses, well, they let you see a whole lot more than you're supposed to be able to see. Again, if you find it uncomfortable or it hurts to look at the sun or the solar eclipse through your glasses, well, err on the side of safety and turn away. Now, several people have asked what my good and bad glasses look like when I'm pointing at the sun. Let's go ahead and do that now. Here we are looking at the sun through the Rainbow Symphony ones, the good ones. And here's the bad ones. Way, way brighter. Now, if you haven't seen my first video on 3 ways to check if your solar eclipse glasses are any good, well, check it out here. And if you'd like to see me restore the most wrecked telescope that I've ever come into contact with, at one point using a basketball as an air bladder, well, check out this video down here. Thanks for watching, and clear skies, everybody.